chosen by a selfish bitch. Chew me up and spit me out. I fell for this so many times, it's ridiculous. And still I stick with this, I'm sick of this. But in my sickness and addiction, you're addictive as they get. Evil as they come, vindictive as they make them. My friends keep asking me why I can't just walk away from them. I'm addicted to pain, stress, and trauma. I'm drawn to shit, I guess I'm a mess. Cursed and blessed, but this time I ain't changing my mind. I'm climbing out this abyss. You're screaming as I walk out that I'll be missed. But when you spoke of people who meant the most to you, you left me off your list. Fuck you, hip-hop, I'm leaving you. My life sentence is served, bitch, and it's just my misery. My mind feels like an artery. Can't look me in the eyes. I don't know what hurts the most. All in it, don't relive in my memories. And they're killing me one by one. Falling from place, I watch it all come apart. Knowing I gotta change it all from the start.
We at it in the thick of it. Let's go. Where you at? Down the wild. Come on, man. Come on. What am I doing here? New post. No, I want to do a story. Or is it real? Or is it story? Which one is it? Oh, I'm trying to play this. Fuck it. There's the news.
News tonight, the deadly attacks on American troops in the Middle East as the war between the U.S. and Iran escalates. The U.S. military saying 2 service members were killed and another is missing after Iranian attacks in Jordan. 4 others hurt. The deaths marking the first American casualties from Iranian attacks since the early days of the war. And with both sides escalating strikes, could the conflict spiral out of control? We're live in the Middle East. Dangerous storms marching across the east, triggering flash floods. Look at these people trapped on a box truck. Water pouring down into New York City subway stations. And now, more than 100 million people bracing for tornadoes and hail, too.
Oh, my God.
It's still not enough to clear out that toxic wildfire smoke in some areas. We've got the latest forecast. Texas declaring a major disaster after more catastrophic floods. Nearly 1 trillion gallons of rainwater falling in just days. Hundreds of rescues, neighborhoods destroyed. And tonight, the cleanup. Our teams in the flood zone. Hostage rescue deep inside the Northern California wilderness.
We got an armed standoff going on with hostages.
What we know about the U.S. Forest Service workers rescued after being kidnapped, zip-tied, and held at gunpoint. What we're learning about a high-profile political prisoner just freed from Cuba, who's now here in the U.S. The wreckage just discovered from that deadly boat accident near Alcatraz. Countdown to the World Cup final. What to expect ahead of tomorrow's big game, plus the battle for bronze. World record broken. The runner who just logged the best mile time ever. And there's good news tonight about the emotional reunion between this man and the heroes who saved his life.
This is NBC Nightly News with Jose Diaz-Balart.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a major update out of the Middle East. The U.S. launching new attacks, retaliating for the deaths of 2 American service members.
Oh man, they're fucking happy to fucking report this shit. They're like, hell yeah, we're gonna generate some fucking consent right the fuck now.
By Iran, with a 3rd still missing. The U.S. military revealing tonight those service members were killed in action, defending against Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks in Jordan. Here you're looking at new video from Iranian state media, which says it shows drones heading to American bases in both Jordan and Kuwait. It comes after a violent week in the region, with the U.S. and Iran trading escalating.
Did they show the same video that I posted? Hold on, let's see.
Against the radio from both Jordan and Iran trading escalating attacks for days now. And we're just learning the U.S. is launching a new round of attacks tonight.
That's what
Also
this was.
tonight, the State Department now warning Americans across the world to exercise increased caution. Our team is covering it all, and Keir Simmons starts us off tonight from Saudi Arabia.
After a week of escalating conflict,
You got Keir in Saudi Arabia?
Service members are dead, killed
Boy, you're in
defending
danger.
an Iranian missile and drone attack in Jordan. U.S. Central Command.
I would say life before World War III was nice, but growing up in the prologue wasn't really nice. Yeah. I mean, you can roll all this together and just, the U.S. endeavors since World War II have really been like a century long, interference across the world.
says another service member is missing in action.
You got blown to
The deaths,
smithereens.
the
That's
first
why they
during
can't
direct
find
Iranian
them.
fire since the early days of this war. This video showing the moments missiles hit Muwafaq Salti Air Base.
Fucking people who like try to post and say that this is like this shit's fake. Like, fuck off. The news is using the same fucking same shit.
In Jordan overnight.
We didn't learn anything from England, no.
That killed those two service members. U.S. Central Command says it's withholding their identities until 24 hours after their families have been notified. 4 others were medically evacuated but have since been discharged, CENTCOM says. Iran had claimed it destroyed at least 2 American fighter jets and 3 aircraft at a base in Jordan, with Iran's new supreme leader in a statement today vowing a forceful response to increasing American attacks. Iran has accused the US of killing civilians and striking bridges like this one, close to a port on the Strait of Hormuz.
It looks like they killed a civilian. It looks like the United States killed a civilian and struck the... I would say that's probably true. I don't know if this is a military IRGC member that was driving this fucking truck. It seems to be blown the fuck up, along with the bridge that they were on.
Close to a port on the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran says desalination plants have been hit that provide drinking water to thousands. CENTCOM says it's targeting Iran's military capability. And Iran has itself hit desalination plants in Kuwait. Here, large plumes of smoke are seen rising from an oil facility there. Kuwait has been hit hard. This satellite image showing the scope of the fire from the sky. Neighboring countries.
Oh man, why are they bombing Kuwait? What does Kuwait have to do anything with this? They're just bad. They're bad neighbors. They only attack the Muslim nations.
Iranian attacks as flagrant aggression.
Why would Iran do
Keir
this?
Simmons joins me now from Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, and Keir, Jordan has been repeatedly targeted.
Yeah, them going after Jordan is like a new development that you didn't really see in the previous rounds. But there's a lot of military, there's a lot of US military in Jordan. I guess, everybody in Jordan just thought that they wouldn't touch it. But that's the same idea that the United States had when believing that Iran would only try to fire at U.S. ships and not at, Oman or the UAE or like, or anybody else that's in the area.
That's right, Jose. Those U.S. forces in Jordan have been under almost constant fire. Jordan has said in the past 2
almost constant fire, and we haven't heard jack shit about this until now.
It has intercepted 13 missiles and 4 drones. Now this new wave of strikes from CENTCOM, it says, will punish Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps for those deadly strikes on those U.S. service members. Jose?
Keir Simmons in Saudi Arabia, thank you. Let's go to Julie Sirkin.
This is going to escalate back to Iran firing on Israel.
The president joins us now from New Jersey. Julie, has the White House indicated how the president plans to respond to these deadly attacks from Iran?
Jose, the U.S. launching new strikes to punish Iran tonight, according to Central Command. The question remains, though, if the U.S. will further escalate after the deaths of those 2 service members. Lawmakers are sending condolences to their families. As for the White House, Jose, they are referring us back to that CENTCOM statement Keir referenced. We also haven't heard from President Trump, who has been unusually quiet on social media today. But remember, Jose, he told our Kristen Welker last month that he would take it very seriously if Iran killed more Americans. 16 service members have now died in this conflict, and days ago the president warned U.S. forces would hit all of Iran's civilian infrastructure, from power plants to bridges. We've now seen 8 straight nights of U.S. strikes against Iran, Jose, and there's real concern back here at home about this war widening since peace talks collapsed. Jose?
Julie Sirkin in Bridgewater, New Jersey, thank you. And now to the dangerous storms putting more than 100 million people at risk across the Northeast. Those storms already triggering flash floods, with that wildfire smoke still lingering in multiple major cities. Valerie Castro reports.
Tonight, more than 100 million people on alert for severe weather as the Northeast braces for tornadoes, hail, and flash flooding. Multiple rounds of dangerous storms moving through the New York City area. Streets turning to rivers in Queens. 2 men trapped on top of this box truck stranded by the floodwaters.
That sucks.
First responders arriving on scene. The pair carefully moving along a narrow ledge. A firefighter extending their hand to help them make the final steps to safety. Visitors to Midtown Manhattan battling rain and wind. This midday rain shower caught a lot of people off guard. The skies were already hazy from all of that Canadian wildfire smoke, so the rain sent a lot of people running for cover.
The rain came out of nowhere, and then from there, so right now, we're stuck.
The water cascading down into subway stations. The weather impacting air travel too. Ground stops issued
Concrete
at New
jungle
York's
where
LaGuardia
dreams
and
are made
Boston's
of.
Logan Airport.
Flights are being
There's nothing you can't do.
out the wazoo.
This all comes as the Canadian wildfire smoke continued to smother major American cities. Washington, D.C. blanketed with a thick layer of the smog.
Damn you,
the smoky
Canada.
air settling in over the Philadelphia skyline and dimming the sunrise over lower Manhattan. This morning, a thick haze of unhealthy air enveloping New York, New Jersey Stadium, the site of tomorrow's World Cup final
doing it on
between Spain
purpose.
and Argentina. The air quality improving after the storms rolled through. And tonight, officials in Canada responding to President Trump posting, "We are holding Canada responsible for that smoke."
You don't get on and start threatening and criticizing, because guess what? One day it's going to be your turn. And we're going to be down there without hesitation to support our neighbors.
Valerie Castro joins us now from Brooklyn. Valerie, we see the Brooklyn Bridge there behind you. What conditions are you experiencing?
Jose, right now there is a break in the storms here in New York
This reminds me of like when who was it? Oh, Herschel Walker was talking about how the bad air from China comes over to the US and sits on the US and causes like air pollution in the United States. And I was like, he was like, yeah, the Earth does rotate. I'm like, he's onto something, but like,
though the sky is still a little hazy.
You can't control where the air pollutants go. They just go in the air, man.
From all of that smoke, the threat for severe weather is not over yet, and the metro area could see wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour before the day is over. Jose?
Valerie Castro,
but yeah,
thank you.
Trump and Herschel Walker being from the
from
Republican
NBC
Party.
New York
So
station. And Matt, how much worse could this get?
Jose, this is definitely going to get worse before it gets better. We're not done. This cold front coming through tonight will bring
Texas
more
floods.
heavy rain.
Tonight, the cleanup. Priscilla Thompson reports.
all right. Well,
Tonight, families across the Texas Hill Country cleaning up after that
here. And tragically tonight, we are learning of 5 people killed in Wayne County, Utah.
Yeah,
the sheriff there saying that they are all believed to be family members, and the suspected cause is flooding. Jose?
Priscilla Thompson in Kerr County, Texas. Thank you. And now to the World Cup of the countdown.
Oh, the World Cup that hasn't happened yet.
Final.
Okay.
Jesse Kirsch.
Yep.
Still ahead tonight, there were a dramatic rescue mission to save U.S. Forest Service workers who were kidnapped.
Huh?
Back now with a disturbing hostage case in Northern California. 2 U.S. Forest Service workers were taken hostage, zip-tied, and held at gunpoint.
What the
while
fuck?
The suspects were in a standoff with authorities for hours. Morgan Chesky reports.
What's the occasion? We got an armed standoff going on with hostages.
Oh my God.
So,
tense moments caught on camera as a frightening hostage crisis played out in real time. Authorities say 2 Forest Service workers were taken at gunpoint by a father and son in a remote wooded area of Northern California near Mount Shasta. The suspects identified as 49-year-old Joseph Henriksen and his 23-year-old son, Phoenix, who investigators say zip-tied the workers before forcing them into a trailer. Federal prosecutors say that's when the elder Henriksen used one of the victim's own cell phones to call law enforcement, threatening to open fire on anyone who approached, saying he wanted to speak with the FBI. That threat launching a massive law enforcement response. When did you begin to get involved in this incident?
I was driving along Forest Service 26, and let's say 2 people in camo gear with guns started hailing me down.
Hank Magnuski's drive to his cabin cut short when officers asked for a ride to the remote scene. His dash cam capturing local, state, and federal agents converging. The FBI even flying in a tactical team cross-country from Virginia.
I would have never, ever guessed something like that would happen around here.
The FBI says the suspects were found with an AR-15 and knives and claimed to have grenades. The standoff lasting nearly 15 hours, finally ending around 1:50 Friday morning.
This is
the
like
suspects
Friday?
Released both workers before surrendering soon after. And tonight, those suspects remain in federal custody.
What did they want?
Kidnapping charges that carry a max penalty of life in prison.
What do they want?
Morgan Chesky,
what's the
thank you.
motive?
Back in a moment with a
Man, I never get to know.
that was just broken, and the new one
They never tell you the fucking motive, man.
time ever.
They never tell you who they were. Nothing.
We're back now with one of Cuba's most high-profile political prisoners who is free tonight and in the United States. Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara traveled to South Florida after receiving a humanitarian visa from the U.S. The artist was one of the leaders of a movement against Cuba's regime. He was detained during the historic July 11th, 2021 protests against that regime. Human rights organizations say there are still hundreds of political prisoners behind bars. Also tonight, the FDA says Taylor Farms, the supplier linked to that Cyclospora parasite outbreak, is pulling certain brands of iceberg lettuce in 27 states, including at Walmart stores, and in many of those states, specifically including some bags of Walmart's market-side bagged iceberg salad and iceberg salads. The Cyclospora outbreak has been linked to severe stomach illnesses in 34 states across the country.
Yeah, it sucks for all the
crews say they have found the wreckage.
Imagine all the wealthy people that shop at Walmart. Oh, they don't really shop there.
The boat that sunk in the San Francisco Bay earlier this week. 2 people were killed. 2 more still missing after the vessel capsized. Officials say the boat sank with 20 people on board after it was hit by a wave. Police say they used sonar to find the sunken boat, and now trying to assess whether it's safe or even possible to recover the wreckage. And runner Josh Kerr just broke the world record for running 1 mile in front of a massive crowd in London. The old record was set 27 years ago, back when the 28-year-old Kerr was just 1 year old. His magic time today, 3 minutes, 42.66 seconds, beating the record by nearly half a second.
What do you do, drive?
Why don't we come back?
The fuck?
There's good news tonight about the emotional moment when this man met the nurses who saved his life.
All right, that's enough of the BS news, I guess. Anyways, what the news that they're not reporting now?
The largest World Cup in history draws to a close this weekend, and Sunday's final is expected to be watched by more than 1 billion people. Tonight, we have a look at how the world's most popular sporting event is being marked in a place where celebration has become rare. As Nick Schifrin reports with producer Shams O'Day, the tournament has helped Palestinians in Gaza find moments of connection and hope.
Thousands of miles.
What a hope, bro! Israel bombs them daily. This is still fucked up.
Soccer's biggest stage is a landscape of crushed concrete, where children play on the remnants of war. And one child's dream is to sit atop the soccer world and one day win the World Cup. 10-year-old Mohammed Shaban might have lost both legs and his right hand in an Israeli airstrike, but not his ability to dribble or love for soccer. Inside the family's canvas home, his mom is his teammate. Every pass, proof the war has not claimed everything.
Mohammed is talented in soccer. He loves to watch the World Cup. His favorite player is Ronaldo.
So much
His goal is to
robbed
play
from
before
these children,
the world,
man.
and he will not forget the pain he's in until he achieves this goal. I pray that he becomes a source of pride for Arabs and Arab teams.
The family's been displaced a dozen times, carrying Mohammed for miles with no wheelchair. His mother, Sondos, struggles to keep him safe and distracted from ongoing dangers. She's desperate to let Mohammed heal, possible only if they find a way out.
Every 6 months or so, Mohammed has needed surgery because of the deep scar tissue caused by rat bites. Rats cause these infections, and when it gets really bad, he's undergone further surgery. I don't want Mohammed to suffer anymore.
He pushes himself further than most of us would be able to go, past the fences that war built around him, to precious moments with friends, just a boy playing the game he loves.
When we play outside, we constantly hear gunshots. We run away because we're terrified. Our only resort is to play between the tents. I want to travel abroad and install my prosthetics. I want to play soccer with my friends and play at the World Cup.
For a people living through war, the beautiful game offered a brief escape from a still ugly reality. Especially when their Arab neighbor Egypt played. The crowd gathered wherever they could find a seat. And when Egypt scored, a shared celebration, a reminder there is still a wide world beyond the rubble. They gathered in the shadow of shattered buildings and watched through bombed walls that had become windows. Egypt publicly dedicated its victories to Palestinians.
Today I walked 3 miles to reach this place so I could celebrate with my family and my people. They are attending as if it were their match, as if it were their country.
And their coach. On Gaza's beach, artists carved a tribute to Egyptian coach Hossam Hassan, whose message resonated beyond the pitch.
So I am a message through football, the soft power in the world. Let the Palestinian people live. Live. They do not want anything, just to live.
That's crazy. I don't remember seeing this on the news or any sports channels or nothing at all.
But in Gaza, there is still death. Last week, another funeral. For Mohammed al-Wahidi, he was an aid worker who helped displaced families and organized the World Cup screenings. His family says an Israeli airstrike killed him in a taxi on his way to watch Egypt play Argentina. Israel says he wasn't the target, and they were aiming at a Hamas operative. His family refutes that.
Of course, yeah. No, he was the target. Anybody that brings joy or hope to the people of Palestine, Israel has to kill.
That's
the way they
also
see it.
targeting the joy of the Palestinian people during the World Cup for Egypt, which raised the Palestinian flag before any other flag or banner.
Since last October's ceasefire, the UN says more than 1,000 Palestinians in Gaza
that's the Israeli,
have been killed.
that's their punishment that they inflict on
An
Palestinians.
inconsolable mother. Here,
No
grief
joy,
is
no hope,
measured
no nothing.
in generations. And yet life still finds a way. There might be no white paint, but there's water and rocks and a need to not be defined by war. Soccer is for everyone. A displaced camp becomes the pitch. Teams of red and blue play a homegrown World Cup.
This game cannot change their reality, but at least it changes their mood for the day. We want to send a kind message to the world that we hope our lives can slowly get better from the current state.
And so in this place where the war has taken so much, the game gives kids the chance to be kids again. With Shams Oda in Gaza for the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
A Palestinian football team has appeared in 7 World Cup qualifier appearances since FIFA officially recognized the team in 1998. That's pretty crazy, actually. Where's the team now? Oh, is okay, yeah. Probably where we would guess. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, I saw this. Hold on. Check this out.
Imagine waking up one day and being told the home your family has lived in for years is going to be demolished to help power the AI boom, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That is what is happening to some homeowners in Georgia. They've been given an ultimatum: sell your home or the state will take it. Utility giant Georgia Power is planning to build a new transmission line so it can handle new data centers.
To us, it's theft. It's literally $1 billion company stealing land from smaller people who can't fight back. We don't have the money to fight Georgia Power.
What did your mom tell you she wanted for this property to be?
Generational wealth. So I have a young daughter. This home is supposed to go to her. True generational wealth was the idea, and now it's being stripped from us.
Georgia Power estimates
they sell us the fucking idea that the American dream is to own some land, own your own house, have 2 kids and a dog, and prosper and watch your investment vehicle continue to appraise higher and higher every year, and then they just fucking take it from you whenever they want.
70 to 80% of the power on this new line is expected to help serve data centers.
For what?
Being
For a
built
fucking
in part
data
to support
center?
the growing demands of artificial intelligence. It says the remaining 20 to 30% of power will serve the state's growing residential and commercial demand.
All power generation starts somewhere.
Holly Lovett is a Georgia Power spokesperson.
We take into factor our
Fucking
customers
demon.
first and foremost. They are at the center of our business and the core of what we do. We want them to be able to have their daily lives. And we take that seriously. It is something needed for survival. And we empathize with these community members who are seeing this growth.
Georgia Power told us that they feel as if they've done this process responsibly. What would you say to that?
I disagree. You can't tear down 35 miles of rural Georgia and it not hurt something or somebody. And to say that you're doing it in the name of data centers is a slap in the face to us, our community, our animals.
Imagine waking up.
This shit's fucked up, man. Yeah, I had to go find the full story. So this is it on CBS Mornings.
Imagine waking up one day and being told the home your family has lived in for years is going to be
Hit him with the
demolished
fucking
to
chair,
help power
dude.
the AI boom, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That is what is happening to some homeowners in Georgia. They've been given an ultimatum: sell your home or the state will take it. Utility giant Georgia Power is planning to build a new transmission line so it can handle new data centers. Skylar Henry has more from a county just outside Atlanta.
I'm a single mom. I worked hard for everything.
How do you put a price on a home you never intended to sell? One filled with more than 2 decades of memories.
I think I was 5 or 6 when this was built.
The treehouse where you grew up playing pretend. The yard where you buried your pets. The greenhouse that fed your family.
When you talk about what being on this property means to you, right? It's y'all's.
It's ours.
Yeah, fuck
It's
data
ours.
centers.
It's my mom's. It's mine. It's my daughter's. It's our family. We belong here.
But Ansley Brown's childhood home likely won't be here much longer. That's because the state's largest utility, Georgia Power, says it needs the area to make way for a 35-mile-long transmission line.
Georgia Power has been here for as long as Ansley's mother has owned this property. It's just beyond the tree line. Now, with the expansion of this latest project, they're looking to take the 2.5 acres the house sits on.
Georgia Power says increasing demand from homes, businesses, and data centers has outpaced the capacity of its existing grid, and building a new transmission line requires acquiring more than 300 parcels of land, including residential properties.
What did your mom tell you she wanted for this property to be?
Generational wealth. So I have a young daughter. This home is supposed to go to her. True generational wealth was the idea, and now it's being stripped from us.
Georgia Power estimates 70 to 80% of the power on this new line is expected to help serve data centers, being built in part to support the growing demands of artificial intelligence. It says the remaining 20 to 30% of power.
We need to dedicate all of our land to data centers and nobody live anywhere. We'll just live above the data centers in the sky. Because the AI will help us figure that out, and we'll get to it when we get to it, I guess. I don't know what the fucking thought process here is, man.
Growing residential and commercial demand.
All power generation starts somewhere.
Holly Lovett is a Georgia Power spokesperson.
We take into factor our customers, first and foremost. They are at the center of our business.
It doesn't seem like it.
We want them to be able to have their daily lives. And we take that seriously. It is something needed for survival. And we empathize with these community members who are seeing this growth.
That's why you have to
Georgia
drive them
Power told
out.
us that they feel as if they've done this process responsibly. What would you say to that?
I disagree. You can't tear down 35 miles of rural Georgia and it not hurt something or somebody.
It's going to be 35 miles of big, beautiful data center, man.
And to say that you're doing it in the name of data centers is a slap in the face to us, our community, our animals.
Brown's mother recently came to an agreement with Georgia Power to sell. Brown says if she didn't, the utility could have sought to acquire her property through eminent domain, a legal process that allows private property to be taken with compensation for projects determined.
Pennies on the dollar compensation, yeah.
Eminent domain is always, a last resort for us, and it's something we never want to do.
To us, it's theft.
Then why do you do it?
It's literally $1 billion company stealing land from smaller people who can't fight back. We don't have the money to fight Georgia Power.
So that's why a few months ago, Ansley took her story to TikTok.
My childhood home is being taken by Georgia Power.
Her videos went viral, and she began sharing stories of others in similar situations, like Cynthia Van Epps.
What is it taking from her? Look behind me. It's taking this entire backyard, the pool and everything.
We don't want to move. That's the bottom line.
Van Epps and her husband raised 4 kids here.
18 years, a lot of memories here.
Our 2 youngest, who are 16 and 17, are, this is the house they've known. This is the only house that they've known.
If Van Epps doesn't sell Georgia Power her property, she says the utility can obtain an easement across a chunk of her backyard, which would require removing the pool and would leave the transmission line just feet from her home.
One of their trucks could pull up right outside our bedroom door, 12 feet from our bedroom door, and there's absolutely nothing we could do about it.
What do you say to someone who will push back on any sort of offer that's out there and say, well, a price tag can't replace memories?
Oh gosh, it almost makes me emotional because I have those
Almost.
memories in like my house, and I get how deeply personal people's homes are. I would just say that we see you and we hear you, and we want this process to be respectful and transparent.
We'll see you and we will hear you very closely when our truck's 12 feet away from your bedroom window.
And that is going to ultimately benefit you. We want that.
Van Epps and Brown don't buy that. And while they both know it's likely too late to save their homes, they don't want to see this happen to anyone else.
My mom wants an apology. She wants an apology from Georgia Power. That's it.
And it's because of how she feels as if she's been treated?
Yeah. I mean, for an entire year, they have bullied her. And there is no sorry. They even told us they don't pay for pain and suffering. So that's what we want. We want an apology from Georgia Power. We want them to say, hey, we're sorry.
When asked if the utility company is willing to apologize, Georgia Power told us they have worked hard to be transparent, negotiate in good faith, and make this process as easy as possible. As for the data centers and who is behind them, Georgia Power told us it doesn't publish lists of customers to protect safety and security. Guys, this is obviously a big story. It's one of those things that we've talked about for months now. These data centers, communities, obviously not in my backyard. But I think the real crux of this argument here is, what do you say to people who've owned these properties for 20, 30 years? And it's like, you got to go.
And you feel the emotion. It's interesting to me that Georgia Power says we've tried to make this process as easy as possible. Their definition of easy as possible is very different from what these families are experiencing. It's still hard to believe there's nothing they can do, nothing.
And the reality is that you're looking at, this is going to
I have
happen
an
more and
idea.
more because you're going to need over the next 20 years, 10 to 20 years, 10 to 15% more power than is being generated right now in the United States. That's probably 100 nuclear reactors if you have to generate 110 gigawatts.
How do you put
Skylar,
a price tag on this? Truly,
can't.
it is so tough.
Skylar, we thank you.
They just the whole story was them about not putting a price tag on it that they don't want to sell. Oh my God. I'm fucking Gonna. Oh. Okay. Yeah, but we need the data centers because we need Flock.
So it turns out Flock, the company that makes all these cameras that are spying on everybody, doesn't like to be spied on.
Are you with Flock? What? Are you with Flock? No, there's a construction firm I work with, CSD. This man, James Boyce, is a former British Army veteran and a current Flock supply chain manager.
And a bad
Not only did
liar.
he lie about working for Flock, which I'm guessing is probably normal at this company, but he also implied to Georgia law enforcement that I could have been armed, and we'll soon see if that puts my life in danger.
You're gonna wait here until the manager talks.
You're holding me until that guy talks, but you're not telling me if I'm
Anybody could be armed. What the fuck?
gonna be detained. Yeah, you are. Am I allowed to leave? Can I go in my car and leave? Are you safe right now, sir?
I've had reports that you've been to basically every Flock safety site and facility that you know of. And
Correct.
Yeah, so
Your surveillance is correct. We're doing our own surveillance.
people don't really feel safe right now with people randomly trying to get into our sites and buildings.
Oh, wait. You don't feel safe being surveilled. Is that what you're saying?
Not at all, sir.
Because that's what you guys do to us without our consent.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting when you guys have this happen, you call the police and
They don't like the Uno reverse card.
make us get stopped.
That's right, rules for thee, but not for me. So I don't want anybody paying a visit to their super secret HQ located in this building. Don't screenshot this address. Also, definitely don't hit that share button.
Yeah, maybe we need to get out there. Oh my god, what's going on? Oh my thing sucks. Back to ZBS News.
In the latest incident involving an ICE agent, an off-duty employee at a federal immigration detention center in Colorado is under arrest this morning, accused of shooting a protester. Now, what happened outside of an ICE facility in Aurora?
An off-duty employee shot an ICE protester.
Thursday night. Police say the employee used his personally owned pistol to fire the shot. The protester's injuries are not believed to be life-threatening. The shooting comes as ICE is under renewed scrutiny following 2 deadly shootings in Texas and Maine this month. CBS News immigration correspondent Camila Montoyo Galvez traveled to Houston.
Not another Keith Porter Jr.? That sounds like it to me.
Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was a proud father, a man who took pride in his work.
Off-duty ICE officer shooting people. It's weird, you know, how whenever they don't want to take responsibility for something, it's because their representative was off-duty. But whenever they do want to take responsibility for something and use their position as an excuse, then they'll say, "Oh, an off-duty involved shooting, and they had to kill the guy because it was a bad guy."
Father, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, had lived in the U.S. for 35 years.
So, I mean, the idea is that cops are truly never off-duty. They are not.
Promise that in America you can, if you put in the work, you'll get paid what you deserve. And the idea that in America you can build yourself up from nothing to become someone.
And then somebody kills you.
Salgado says he found out their father had been shot through a video.
The American dream is a lie.
Someone posted a video of someone on the ground yelling and for help, and I recognized the voice. It was my dad. I still hear that sound in my head of him screaming for help.
ICE says Salgado Araujo weaponized his work van during a traffic stop, prompting an agent to shoot him in self-defense, an allegation disputed by the other 3 men in the vehicle. This week, the FBI said it is investigating.
They've shown video that there's a Metro bus. Metro is the city bus services that have dash cams on them, and it was going directly in that direction, like directly towards where the shooting happened, as the shooting was happening. So the video does exist.
Investigating the possibility that illicit drugs were in the van. But the top prosecutor in Houston says he has information contradicting that claim. Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was shot and killed by an ICE agent on this Houston street
frame him as a bad guy that deserved to die.
Caused outrage, anger, anguish in this Texas community. We have seen people here come and go to pay their respects and to demand accountability. 96-year-old Lucia Santos is one of them.
She's never seen this type of cruelty that they treat our people worse than animals.
Less than a week after the shooting in Houston, an ICE agent in Maine shot and killed 26-year-old Colombian immigrant Johan Sebastian Duran Guerrero. ICE has claimed its officer feared for, quote, public safety as Duran Guerrero allegedly attempted to flee. The Associated Press identified the ICE agent as David Broliet, citing interviews with close relatives who said the officer had a long history of violent and abusive behavior. Duran Guerrero's wife spoke out for the first time on Thursday. He was a responsible, hardworking man dedicated to his family, she told reporters. The shootings prompted ICE to pause most vehicle stops. But President Trump overturned that decision just a day later. Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen.
We're turning up the heat on the streets. We're out there working harder than we ever have because we've empowered
this fucking
our
dog
law
shit ass
enforcement
person,
to
man.
do their job. What I'm trying to do is remove us from the headlines every single day. But everybody will be held accountable.
Back in Houston, Ronaldo Salgado says he feels deeply guilty about his father's killing.
I fear that I will always live with that guilt. Because who knows what would have happened if I had been there, or if I had arrived at the scene much sooner. I'll always think about that. And it's just a lot of guilt.
Salgado Arejo's family is expected to hold a private funeral service this weekend. They continue to call for a transparent and independent investigation. For CBS Saturday Morning, Camilo Montoya Galvez, Houston.
Our hearts hurt for that family and all the families involved.
Need to do more, man. Yeah, I mean they're literally taking everything from us, man. Here is a report. The moment a farmer realized his farm wouldn't survive.
Here he is, coming to a terrible realization in real time.
So on my farm, we're going to use about 118 tons of fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer, to grow that crop.
So how much is that going to be?
That's $136,000. That's not even doable.
Our country is doing better than it's ever done.
In Washington, the president hosted Iowa farmers in June, announcing $11 billion in relief. The USDA is injecting $500 million into fertilizer investment and expansion of long-term domestic supply, or the Fields program. They also say they're launching an antitrust investigation. I dug in.
The farmers with whom we spoke, their biggest problem is not what happened in the Strait of Hormuz. It's the price gouging domestically by the big three fertilizer companies. My question is, what's the latest on these antitrust lawsuits, and what's being done to break up these oligopolies?
So you've got both the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission that are investigating both civilly and criminally the fertilizer market. And what they're looking at there is the fertilizer market actually responding the way we would expect a free market to respond? Or has there been collusion in determining where fertilizer goes?
For Lilliebridge, time is running out.
It feels like somebody's really twisting the knife in the back. They're definitely taking advantage of agriculture. They're taking advantage of farmers. Quite honestly, they're taking advantage of every single American.
Just outside Cedar Rapids, I'm Molly Martinez. Here he is.
Yeah, so once our food prices go through the fucking roof, man, I mean they already are. This is it's weird how this is all related. Yeah, back here. Speaking of Strait of Hormuz, Trump's war on Iran.
All right, let's now get you some breaking news that's coming in. 2 American service members have reportedly been killed in Jordan after Iran launched a wave of ballistic missile and drone attacks, marking one of the deadliest direct confrontations involving the U.S. forces in the region in recent months. Now, the attack has come after 7 consecutive days of intense American strikes on Iranian targets, dramatically escalating the tensions across West Asia. According to the U.S. Central Command, the troops were killed while American and partner forces were defending against the Iranian retaliatory barrage. 1 more U.S. service member remains missing in action as search efforts continue. The Pentagon has said that 4 American personnel were medically evacuated to hospitals in Jordan following the attack, and they've since been discharged, while several others who suffered minor injuries have also returned back to duty. The deadly strike underscores the growing risks facing the U.S. forces that are stationed across the region as the conflict continues to widen. Iran's retaliatory fire on Jordan has opened a dangerous new chapter, with fears that the cycle of attacks and counterattacks could trigger an even bigger regional confrontation. Military analysts have warned that the exchange has significantly raised the stakes, with Washington and Tehran locked in a rapidly escalating military standoff, and concerns amounting that further retaliation from either side could push the region into a much larger conflict than what it already is engulfed in.
Don't worry, I have more. That's Weon. Yeah, weird how this keeps going in a circle. First we bomb Iran, oil go up, sell oil stock, say peace is near, oil goes down. You buy the oil stock, and then you bomb Iran again, so the oil prices go up. Then you sell the oil stock, and then you say peace is near. Oil goes down. You buy more oil stock, and then you bomb Iran again. It's a weird cycle. He made $2.2 billion in 1 year somehow. That's crazy. Did he start talking about nuking again? Not yet. Not yet. He said that we're going to strike their infrastructure facilities. Let me see what this is. Hold on. Oh yeah, here's
Iranian state media
the
is
Aussies
reporting
on it.
strikes on U.S. bases in Bahrain and Kuwait, but the Pentagon
Kuwait.
says the fatal strike was in Jordan. We know that the U.S. has lost 16 personnel, as you say, since the war began. 7 were killed in a drone strike on a base in Kuwait on the 1st of March. Another 6 died in an aerial refueling incident and 1 in a helicopter crash. So these are actually the first 2 deaths as the result of direct hostilities since the second day of the war. In a statement from Tampa, Florida, U.S. Central Command said, on July 17th, 2 U.S. service members in Jordan were killed in action as U.S. Central Command and partner forces defended against Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks. Additionally, 1 service member is currently missing in action. Now, all of this comes after Iran's supreme leader warned of unforgettable lessons for America. Mujtaba Khamenei, who hasn't been seen in public actually since the death of his father, the late Ayatollah, condemned America for violating the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the 2 countries. Tehran has actually suspended that now. He went on to say that repeated breaches by what he called the Great Satan prove that Donald Trump's signature is worthless and invalid. Those words came after 7 consecutive nights of US strikes on Iranian targets. Now, I suppose the big question is, now that America has lost another 2 service members and there is 1 missing in action, what does that mean for Donald Trump? I think historically US presidents have been able to withstand military casualties, providing they can convince the public that there is a clear objective to the war, that progress is being made, and that the cost is proportionate to the stakes. But let's just talk about the objective. It appears to have shifted from Iran's nuclear capability to its military capability around the Strait of Hormuz. We know that the US naval blockade is back in place there. We know that the Iranians are again targeting ships there. So progress isn't being made. And I think all of that means it is becoming increasingly difficult for President Trump as Commander-in-Chief to justify putting US personnel in harm's way.
Okay, David, for now in DC, thank you so much for that. More from David and team as we get more detail about those personnel who have lost their lives.
Not bad reporting. So this was this is my post. So yeah, after repeatedly denying that any U.S. troops have been killed, and you can see that here. Iranian propaganda claimed today that 3 American service members were killed in Kuwait by strikes from Iran. False. There are 0 reports of U.S. service member deaths or injuries in the region. All personnel are accounted for. This is the other day. And then this was yesterday. Claim Iranian forces that attacked the garrison of Syria and captured or killed American troops in the process. False. No troops in the region have been killed or captured. This was early yesterday. Then they had to put out this statement saying that U.S. service members in the region have been killed, actually. It happened yesterday. So, here's the video. Or a video. Holy shit. This is from a base in Jordan. Not sure if it's the base where the soldiers died. But I would not be surprised, given the context here. Insane stuff. I thought this is... then this video came out recently. If you listen closely,
no one's supposed to fire.
That's an American accent. This is the U.S. military firing ATACMS long-range ballistic missiles into Iran from Kuwait. Now, somebody wanted to argue with me about something. What did they say? U.S. warplanes launching from USS Abraham Lincoln and USS George H.W. Bush in the Strait of Hormuz to strike Iranian infrastructure. Then the Iranian response is destroying Kuwait infrastructure. It doesn't make any sense. But I said if Iran sunk an aircraft carrier, which it most likely can, Trump would go ballistic. I mean, if Iran sinks an aircraft carrier, then Trump's definitely going to start talking about nuking Iran. He will nonstop start talking about nuking Iran. Losing an aircraft carrier would mean that we lost thousands of lives on that aircraft carrier. Especially if it sunk, it would be a major catastrophe for the United States. Not only, in that element, but also in the idea that our aircraft carriers are susceptible to taking damage and to actually failing. It would be a major hit for the United States. And I think that it would be a major escalation as well. And I think that Iran sees that, and everybody else in the area sees that. We would definitely 100% be launched into a full-on world war at that point, larger than what it is currently in the region. But that's why I believe the ships, the aircraft carriers, stay out of optimal range of these missiles, or at least like the hypersonic type of thing, type of tech that they use to hit their targets. And it just you can't really get close to them either, because they're usually surrounded by a fleet of destroyers and other ships that are designed to act as several layers of defense for these aircraft carriers. So very difficult to land a shot on the aircraft carrier is my analysis here. But also at the same time, I believe that Iran isn't going to want to get into that situation where things escalate beyond what it is right now. But as far as ships that are actually have gone into the Strait of Hormuz, it's usually the destroyers that have several lines of defense, and they're armed to the teeth, and they're faster than an aircraft carrier, which is basically just a moving city. Yeah. AI tell you put anything else out besides this? I don't really know if I care for this stuff. Guess we could watch this. I didn't know we had unmanned.
Why, and more importantly, how would you build a combat robot armed with a 50 caliber machine gun on a budget? To pull this off, you need high torque electric motors and heavy duty batteries.
Where's the robot dog?
This thing moving for roughly 10 miles on a single charge. You'll also need a camera for remote targeting, and of course the 50 caliber machine gun itself. But why go through the trouble of building an unmanned ground vehicle in the first place? Well, there is a common misconception about modern warfare. The front line is almost never a smooth, open battlefield. Instead, it is packed with
The voice sounds kind of like
defense.
RFK. Yeah, he does.
We're talking thick barbed wire that's nearly impossible for infantry to cut through, not to mention hidden
this is obviously AI voice, right?
mines, deep trenches,
We made him more,
and constant machine gun
more
fire
RFK-like,
pouring
I
out
guess.
of enemy dugouts. Sending human troops to push through that kind of terrain on foot would cost countless lives. But how exactly does a remote-controlled robot pull a trigger? The solution is brilliant but simple. Engineers attached a magnetic relay to the firing mechanism. When the operator sends a signal, the relay physically squeezes the trigger and the gun starts firing. This raises a wild question, though. Will a human soldier actually surrender to a robot? Surprisingly, yes. During one recent mission, operators sent a robot out into the open specifically to draw enemy fire. The tactic worked perfectly, forcing the enemy to reveal their hidden position. Once those bunkers were exposed, a swarm of FPV drones engaged and struck the targets, neutralizing the threat without risking a single human life. So how exactly is Ukraine deploying these unmanned ground vehicles to strike the Russian front line? Well, here are the challenges. The Russian typically has four-layer defense perimeter. It comes down to the brutal reality of the battlefield.
Is this what we're going to use on our ground invasion of Iran?
And a typical contested tree line or fortified
Because I think
sector
Trump's idea,
consists
right? Trump's idea is to do a ground invasion and like take the coastal cities, and especially Karg Island.
Of four
And
distinct
with the consent that's been manufactured of the soldiers dying, I strongly believe that that's Trump's next step.
layers of friction. The first challenge is the electronic and aerial umbrella, a canopy of reconnaissance drones calling in artillery, backed by electronic warfare jammers designed to sever command signals to attacking drones. Past that lies the obstacle belt, which is a dense network of anti-personnel and anti-tank mines, razor wire, and physical barriers set up to funnel attackers into fatal kill zones. The third layer introduces the forward trench network, featuring interlocking firing trenches manned by infantry equipped with small arms, PKM machine guns, and rocket-propelled grenades. Finally, the attackers must face reinforced subterranean bunkers. These deep dugouts, covered in timber and earth, are built to survive artillery barrages and house the surviving defenders who emerge to repel the final infantry push. Sending human assault teams through these four layers requires massive artillery preparation. It inevitably comes with devastating casualties. To bypass this meat grinder, Ukraine developed a purely robotic combined arms breach.
Hey, we need those. We're going to borrow these.
So, how do you build
Bring
an
them back,
assault
don't worry.
vehicle that can survive this environment? It starts with the chassis and drivetrain. Most of these unmanned vehicles use rugged, low-profile track systems, much like miniature tanks, to navigate deep mud, snow, and trench networks. Others ride on heavy-duty 4x4 or 6x6 wheeled bases. Interestingly, they don't have traditional gas engines. Instead, they are fitted with silent electric motors on the wheels or tracks. Pop the cover off and you will find high-capacity lithium-ion battery packs that can keep the drone running for over 48 hours. These electric motors provide massive torque for hauling heavy loads while staying whisper quiet, making them incredibly hard to detect at night. When it comes to steering, the mechanics are surprisingly simple. When the remote operator pushes the joystick, the drone's onboard controller adjusts the voltage sent to the left and right motors. To turn right, the left motors are commanded to spin faster than the right ones, pivoting the vehicle and skidding the tires or tracks.
Fantastic.
To turn left, the right motors spin faster,
I
pushing
love
the
seeing
vehicle
dystopian weapons of war.
to drive straight. Both sides receive the
They're
exact
drive
same
this
power,
up to your house
moving
next.
forward at identical
Like in 20
speeds.
years, they'll be driving these things. Your local police station will
This
have
low-profile
these.
tracked robot can carry up to 661 pounds of supplies, transport wounded soldiers, or mount weapons like this Browning machine guns.
Like, oh, we're
The
done with the
operation
Iran
begins
war,
miles
and we
away
have to
in
sell
underground
these
Ukrainian
because we
command
made too
centers.
many.
To defeat the Russian electronic warfare umbrella, operators use localized mesh networks and frequency-hopping communications, often bouncing signals off high-altitude aerial
The
repeater
AI
drones.
algo has
Once the signal
determined
is
that
secure,
you are
the
an
first
enemy
wave
of the
machines
state.
rolls out.
So
When a
the
vehicle carrying soldiers
machine
hits a
gun
landmine,
robot dog
human
has
cost
shown
is
up to your
devastating.
doorstep.
That's why unmanned ground vehicles are so vital. If a robot gets blown up, they haven't lost a life, they just send another one. Using optical and thermal sensors, they carve a safe path through razor wire and minefields. And as the unmanned ground vehicle reached the edge of the forward trenches, Russian defenders typically opened fire with RPGs and machine guns. By doing this, however, they exposed their firing positions. Immediately, Ukrainian operators launch a coordinated strike using first-person view aerial drones and one-way kamikaze ground drones. The agile ground robots roll right into the trenches, detonating against machine gun nests, while aerial drones dive into the exposed firing pits from above. This dual-axis attack shatters the surface-level defense, forcing the surviving Russian infantry
I wonder how many people that have like been in BattleBots, like been involved in the BattleBot scene, got military contracts for like their designs and ideas.
retreat into their final layer of protection deep inside the bunkers. With the trenches cleared, the heavy assault drones roll in. These are heavily armored platforms equipped with devastating weapons, like the 50 caliber.
Because like you have to think about like, you know, sure it's got tank tricks on it, but I mean if you've ever watched BattleBots, there's some crazy designs that often succeed over very foolproof designs.
Machine gun. Operating with zero fear of suppressive fire, the robot establishes an inescapable overwatch position just meters from the bunker doors. The moment the bunker reveals its firing position, the UGV activates its 50 caliber gun, and those armor-piercing rounds easily tear straight through the dugout's timber and earth reinforcements. Cut the power, and a spring instantly pulls the rod back, stopping the fire. To load that first round, a separate heavy-duty motor is used to physically pull the charging handle. Trapped inside their final defensive layer, the Russian soldiers face a terrifying reality. They are pinned down by an expendable machine that doesn't get tired, cannot be intimidated, and will systematically dismantle their bunker if they try to fight back. Traditional defensive tactics rely on pinning down human attackers with suppressive fire, but suppressing a robot is entirely useless. Realizing that resistance means annihilation by a machine, the soldiers are forced into an unprecedented decision. They throw down their weapons and step out of the bunker with their hands
and
raised.
then they kill them anyway.
Operators monitoring the situation through the
Hit 'em
drone's
with the
cameras
drone.
and hovering aerial drones accept the surrender remotely. Using onboard loudspeakers or just by physically maneuvering the vehicle, they command the prisoners to march toward Ukrainian lines. The heavily armed ground drone falls in behind them, its gun trained on their backs, acting as a mechanical guard. The prisoners are escorted all the way back to friendly territory, completing a devastating
Israel
assault
has these
that shattered
things, but they
4
fly.
defensive layers, all without a single
then they
human
use auto
soldier
aim
ever
to kill
stepping
you.
foot on the battlefield. You might be wondering how the drone actually aims and fires. The weapon isn't bolted directly to the chassis. Instead, it sits inside a motorized cradle. To aim, it relies on 2 highly precise electric motors. One spins the entire turret left and right, while the other tilts the gun up and down. When the operator moves their joystick, the drone's computer tells these motors exactly where to point. The camera, mounted just below the gun, moves perfectly in sync with the barrel, so wherever the operator looks, the gun is ready to fire. Pulling the trigger on a massive 50 caliber gun without a human finger relies on a brilliant mechanical relay. It all starts with the signal. The moment the operator presses fire, that command flies to the drone, traveling via encrypted radio waves, a satellite connection, or even a spool of jam-proof fiber optic cable. In a fraction of a second, the drone's brain catches the signal and clicks a heavy-duty electrical relay. That relay instantly dumps raw battery power into a solenoid coil, turning it into a massive electromagnet. This magnetic force violently shoots a metal rod forward, physically punching the gun's trigger. As long as the power is on, the weapon fires on full auto.
Repeating his line.
Click the link on the screen for more original videos featuring 100% custom 3D animations.
Oh man, I should have watched that one. Fuck, you telling me that they have a fuck? No way, they put a M82 in the fuck. What the fuck? Hold on.
How exactly does the U.S. Corsair unmanned surface vessel work? On the outside, it might look simple, but inside, it packs a massive 1,000-pound warhead within a highly modular payload bay. Powered by a hybrid generator and a completely silent electric motor,
it's just
it
a
easily
missile
pushes
on a
past
boat.
35 knots. For the first time in an active war zone on July 12, 2026,
they just changed the JDAM. It's not a JDAM anymore, it's a boat.
the U.S. Navy deployed this platform to execute an unprecedented strategy, ramming the drones directly into an Iranian dry dock. So what happens at the exact moment of impact? If configured with a GBU-31, the sequence is deadly. Up front is the fuse, sitting right ahead of the 1,000-pound warhead. The second it hits the target, the fuse triggers the conduit rod, instantly detonating the payload. The target is sitting elevated in the dry dock.
Yeah, alright, well, I've seen enough. I hate it here. Yeah. Hold on. I need more. I have more war stuff. What was this? Oh no, that's the evidence stuff. Okay, got that. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, we covered the JD Vance thing the other day. Or yesterday. Let's see this analysis on it.
Bruh, at this point, if you unironically listen to Joe Rogan, I have to assume that you're a pedophile. This is why when people be like, oh, you're just gonna stop being my friend because of what I watch. Well, yes, the fuck I will, yes. If you are uncritically watching pedophile cover-up, bro, and eating it up, nigga, you are fucking pathetic, okay? You're bird-brained. I don't need to be around you because birds of a feather flock the fuck together. Like, pedophile cover-up and then capitalism, Mr. Beast glaze the next day is just, like, absurd. This isn't even, like, high-level psyop. This is just
Joe Rogan had Mr. Beast on the next day? Yeah, Chainslayer pushing the content again. Yeah, I love it.
Basic level 1 psyop.
The dude never missed.
C tier psyop. So if you're falling for this shit, bro, this shit is pathetic, bro. Any reasonable person comes across pedophilia or a pedophile, what they doing? They beating the pedophile up. They fucking shaming the pedophile. Hopefully they can get the pedophile thrown in some type of prison or something of that nature. In simple, the pedophile gets punished. So again, any pedophile excusory is also pedophile protection. And if you go for any of that shit, then yes, it's fuck you. Yes, of course. Like, if you have any friends that think this nigga Tony Hinchcliffe is funny, just cut him off. Probably not adding any value into your life. And they are actively engaging in the destruction of comedy, which is fucked up. Because comedy used to be great. Okay, I'm 23. I don't know too much about this comedy shit. But one thing I do know is this nigga George Carlin was cold as fuck. Yeah. Shit that we have now sucks. And again, it's just one big psyop for pedophiles. All these niggas are subservient to like literal human despising, contemptuous pedophiles. And you're sitting here laughing at their jokes. And I'm just supposed to be okay with this. No! Fuck you. Fuck these niggas and their fucking lame-ass fucking jokes. And all this shit is just one big fucking joke. You're not gonna go on and do pedophile protection one day and then glazed Mr. Beast the next day. I mean, kids
That's
watch
fucking
Mr.
crazy,
Beast.
man.
All of this shit is sick. So yes, it's that deep. Yes, if you watch Joe Rogan, fuck you. If you watch Joe Rogan like uncritically, fuck you. Yes, fuck you.
The Mr. Beast on the next fucking day is crazy, man. That's fucking wild.
Raped and killed.
If this regime in Iran...
No, hold on.
Sitting here in front of this destroyed synagogue that was bombed in the middle of Tehran by Israel, I was actually thinking about something that the demented Zionist carnival barker Mark Levin said, which is that if any Jew goes to Iran, they'll be instantly raped and killed.
If this regime in Iran could, it would murder every single one of you sitting in this room. Every single one. Every woman in this room, they would rape you. Every single one. If you had grandchildren here, they would
talk about fear mongering.
Slaughter them. Every single one of you here.
Well, I've been all around Tehran this week. I actually went to the funeral of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and nothing happened to me. People would ask me, are you an American?
Yeah, nothing happened to him until he came back to the United States and they fucking seized all of his fucking material, including like his phone.
Many people know I'm Jewish here. The authorities know I'm Jewish here, and nothing has happened to me. It's completely chill. Everybody knows that if anything happens to me or the Jewish community in Iran, it's going to be at the hands of Israel and the United States. Sitting here in front
of... It got a good point there. But yeah, the United States seized this stuff as soon as he got back here. Yeah, like this guy.
A blind spot when it comes. For far too long, however, our counterterrorism doctrine has had a blind spot. A blind spot when it comes to extremist violence from the political left. Last November, the State Department designated 4 violent, far-left extremist groups as foreign terrorist organizations.
Ooh.
And there will be more designations soon. This is what radical leftism is.
Nobody, okay.
It may wear various different slogans and ideologies across place and time. They can call themselves anti-capitalist, or anti-imperialist, or communist, or anarchist, or Marxist, but the fundamental character is always the same. It's always the same. It is a
joke's on them, I can't go anywhere already.
Poisonous resentment, cloaked in the language of equality and justice, and the world communism envisions is a world without God.
And we obviously need God. I mean, how how else will I remain distracted from what from how these guys are robbing me and backing oligarchs and billionaires and major conglomerate companies that are going to steal my house if I don't voluntarily sell it to them so that they can build more AI data centers. Like, of course.
Ideological boundaries are now giving way to new operational alliances. The unified front between international Marxism and radical Islamic movements need not share the same ultimate vision to share the same immediate enemy.
Motherfucker, this is what we did in in the Middle East, like in the 80s. Like the United States purposely pushed the Muslim radical movements like into the arms of communists so that we could demonize both of them together.
Of free and self-governing societies.
A National Security Presidential Memorandum, or NSPM, NSPM 7 to be exact, that directs for the first time in American history all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country.
For far too long, however,
the fucking demon himself, the human fucking thumb, fucking hairless chihuahua over here. More on
pro-Palestine activist was
NSPM7.
arrested in Spain.
I'm going to show you what's coming down the line by connecting some dots so that you can be prepared. A pro-Palestine activist was arrested in Spain. He's a U.S. citizen at the behest of the U.S. government on allegations that he provided material support to terrorism. It's going to be a little bit longer. Please stay with me. You need to see the entire picture here. On Thursday, Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio gave talks at the State Department announcing their intention to label left-wing groups as foreign terrorist organizations.
NSPM 7, to be exact, that directs for the first time in American history all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists.
Last November, the State Department designated 4 violent, far-left extremist groups as foreign terrorist organizations.
Oh, okay, hold on. He showed them. Let me see. Antifa OST, also known as Antifa East and Hammerband, is a Germany-based militant group. Wait, hold on. Conducted numerous attacks against individuals it perceives as fascists or part of the right-wing scene in Germany. And is accused of so if they're fighting the right wing, then obviously an enemy to the state, I guess. Armed proletarian justice, revolutionary class self-defense. Anybody that's defending themselves is an enemy.
Terrorist organizations. And there will be more designations soon.
This push to associate left-wing ideology with terrorism started in earnest with the NSPM 7 memo, which was signed 2 weeks after Kirk's shooting. NSPM 7 directed federal agencies to investigate people and organizations for their, quote, anti-fascist, anti-American, anti-Christian, and extreme gender ideology. We are now witnessing the escalating consequences of this directive. The Prairieland defendants faced terrorism charges and were sentenced to between 30 and 100 years in prison. The case was based on their loose association through an anarchist book club and their possession of left-wing zines. A new federal task force was created specifically to prosecute NSPM 7s. It's called Task Force Vanguard. They indicted 15 Minneapolis activists in June on conspiracy charges, citing that they were part of an Antifa cell. Also in June, TF Vanguard charged 2 Atlanta area Cop City activists with arson for their protest actions in 2022, again citing Antifa. Pro-Palestinian activist Fergie Chambers was arrested on the 14th in Spain at the request of the U.S. He is now awaiting extradition. Chambers is an heir to the multi-billion-dollar Cox family fortune, and he has used his inheritance to support pro-Palestine movement for years. The charges against Chambers are based on material support for Hamas, which is a designated foreign terrorist organization. Chambers supporters report that his donations have gone toward humanitarian aid. This is why Rubio and Miller announced that they're going to be designating more left-wing groups as FTOs. An FTO is a specific designation. Domestic terrorist means nothing under the law, but the Patriot Act granted the government sweeping powers to go after FTOs without ever
designate you as a foreign terrorist organization, but you can't designate fucking AIPAC as a foreign entity.
Presenting evidence in a court of law. Sebastian Gorka, Trump's counterterrorism czar, said that all leftist groups are part of some huge network and are active participants in terrorism. With the terrorism laws that we have, they don't even need to charge you with a crime to ruin your life. They can merely accuse you of providing material support to terrorists and then sanction you and cut you completely off from banking. In May, the Treasury Department imposed sanctions on 4 pro-Palestine activists who participated in the global Samud flotilla. The sanctions came after the U.S. designated 2 pro-Palestine groups as specially designated global terrorists. In May, the Justice Department announced that they were seeking to strip citizenship from 12 naturalized U.S. citizens. Quote, providing material support to a terrorist group was one of the reasons given by the DOJ for stripping these U.S. citizens of their citizenship. That's what this regime wants to do to people that hold left-wing ideology. We imprisoned 780 people in Guantanamo Bay without charge, merely on the accusation that they were terrorists or provided material support for terrorists, including a U.S. citizen. He was held by the U.S. for 3 years. His case made it all the way to the Supreme Court, which said you can't hold hold U.S. citizens in Gitmo indefinitely without charge. In 2004, he was released to Saudi Arabia with no charges, but only after he agreed to renounce his U.S. citizenship. The average time that detainees were held at Gitmo without any due process were 7.5 years. Their goal is to use ICE, their masked secret police, to round up opponents of the regime and imprison them inside the ICE camps without charge and without due process. The 288 men sent to CCOT last March was a test run. Remember, at the time, Trump kept saying that he wanted to send the homegrowns there next.
I want him to homegrown criminals next. Yeah. He said, homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places. Yeah, that's fair. All right.
Bukele, who proudly brands himself as the world's coolest dictator, has imprisoned nearly 3% of the entire male adult population in El Salvador. That is the model that Trump wants to emulate. CCOT is famous for their phrase that no one leaves here alive. I am pleading for the American people to wake up to what is happening. The midterms will not save us. They're trying to subvert the democratic process in broad daylight. And I think these latest ICE escalations were ordered in order to provoke violence from the population. All of this is going to culminate in a brutal, violent, authoritarian crackdown around the midterms as the Trump regime attempts to cling to power. But remember this, a sword cuts both ways. We are not helpless. Every person that ICE murders galvanizes communities to come together and resist. The more they push, the more violent they become, the greater the resistance will grow. Our job is to educate and organize our community to talk about the root cause of all of this, which is white supremacy and capitalism. You've got to get plugged into a group like the Socialist Rifle Association, the John Brown Gun Club, PSL, DSA. You don't need to align 100% with the group's politics. The important thing is to join and to meet people. You could join ICE rapid response groups. You could go to city council meetings about data centers. You need to find people that you know personally that you can call upon to defend your community. You will be the ones that the broader public coalesces around as the anger against the police state bubbles over. And that's why they're going after left-wing organizations, because they know that their policies, their actions are going to cause material conditions to continue to deteriorate. They're going to cause more and more anger among the populace. And they want that anger to be diffuse and disorganized because that's not a threat to their power. So remember, we have the numbers, we have the truth, we are on the right side of history, and we will win.
You know, he listed several groups that, you know, he suggested to join. Like, people are like, oh, I don't like this group because of blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, we can fight amongst each other later. Like, I guarantee you, like, I'm down to fist fight somebody from whatever camp. I don't give a fuck. Like, just, can we get rid of the fucking fascists first? Like, can we fucking fight these guys? It's stupid.
All of a sudden, we've lost the chain of custody of 70 ballot boxes in critical.
Oh, what was this?
But understand what happened tonight. The president was setting the context.
Oh, yeah. Going back here.
For him to turn around at midnight on election day and say, I warned you. I warned you back in July that the Chinese were doing XYZ and the Venezuelans were doing XYZ and all this terrible stuff. It happened tonight. I am deploying federal officers from the Department of Homeland Security to 7 states. They will be seizing ballot boxes in those states because we know that lots of undocumented aliens voted in those things. So we are seizing ballot boxes. Now, Lawrence O'Donnell, what happens when all of a sudden we've lost the chain of custody of 70 ballot boxes in critical? That is the moment in which American democracy dies. Make no mistake. What happened tonight?
This is how Trump's going to find his 11,780 whatever votes that he needs. He's going to literally fucking just dispatch ICE or whoever the fuck he wants to go seize the ballot boxes.
But understand what happened tonight. The president was setting the context. He was setting.
Yeah. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Meanwhile, we got fucking where was I? Yeah, meanwhile we got the actual election interference going on here. This story from Politico. How do I close this thing? What the fuck? Damn it. AIPAC drops online donations to Dems who backed Israel aid cut. AIPAC site removes option to give to more than a dozen Democrats, removes Pelosi plaudits. The campaign finance arm of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee is curtailing online contributions to House Democrats who voted to cut Israel aid this week. In the latest rift between the party and the influential advocacy group. As of Friday afternoon, an online portal for AIPAC's Political Action Committee removed donation buttons for more than a dozen House Democrats from a page that lists incumbents who stand with Israel. The members now listed without donation buttons include Reps. Catherine Clark of Massachusetts, the number 2 House Democrat, Joe Neguse of Colorado, another member of leadership, and Rep. Pat Ryan of New York, who renounced AIPAC money after the vote. AIPAC members are deeply appreciative of their representatives who stand on principle and are disappointed by those who don't, AIPAC spokesman Darren Souza said in a statement to Politico. The move, this is long as hell, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. The move is further evidence of a major shift in AIPAC's political relationship with House Democrats. Ahead of the midterms, several hard-left progressive candidates have toppled incumbents in primaries after hammering them for accepting AIPAC money, leaving many Democrats to conclude that ties to the pro-Israel group are politically toxic. According to the snapshot from the Internet Archive, the donation buttons were active as recent as July 6th. At that point, the portal also included praise for former Speaker Nancy Pelosi of California. We thank Congresswoman Pelosi for her support for the U.S.-Israel relationship, a caption on the portal read on July 6th after noting Pelosi is not running for re-election. As of Friday, the thank you was gone, as was a thank you to Pelosi's fellow California Democrat Rep. Julia Brownlee. Spokespeople for the House Democrats did not immediately respond to requests for comment. On Wednesday, more than 100 House Democrats voted for an amendment to State Department funding bill that would have cut U.S. aid to Israel, marking a massive break in the party's once unshakable support for the Jewish state. Many of those members cited frustration with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's handling of the war on Gaza. The amendment failed with 98 Democrats, including Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York, opposing it. So, still half of the Democrats voted to continue funding Israel with American tax dollars. Like, even though the stories that were coming out were like, oh, House Democrats vote to defund Israel. It's like, okay, yeah, it was like half of them. Most of those people are in safe seats or are in seats that they are no longer incumbent to. Yeah. Ryan posted on X Wednesday that he expected groups like AIPAC would no longer support his future campaigns, and that, frankly, I don't want their support. Hardline stances that refuse to stand up to a corrupt and increasingly dangerous Netanyahu regime have no place in our politics, he said. And they always pin it on Netanyahu. It's not just Netanyahu, man. It's a collective issue, in my opinion. They want to frame it as like the Netanyahu government or whatever. Like, no, it's not that, man. I can't show that image there. But yeah, as I've said before, this is not a Netanyahu government issue. This is an issue with Israel overall. The U.S. war on Iran that Israel started continues in order to provide cover for these events. And this was them murdering Palestinians in the streets as they do. Yeah, but Trump provided evidence of Chinese interference in our elections.
Am I missing something? The 2006 intelligence community assessment concluded that neither Smartmatic nor the Venezuelan government had the capability, that is the level of control or access.
Oh, somebody's talking in his video. Okay.
process required to manipulate the outcome of an election outside of Venezuela in a predictable fashion.
Let's go.
Why would he release
brother.
this? How is it?
They just know nobody's going to read it on the fucking right.
This is saying China went after Joe Biden. Did these people read anything? The IC has detected Chinese state-sponsored cyber actors targeting the former vice president's presidential campaign, probably to gather intelligence that could enable future operations. This one could be serious. They used a creepy picture.
My
Who is this?
God. Whoa. He's white? Skinny?
Is he? Is this even a person, or is this some kind of... Is this the demon that attacked Tucker Carlson in his sleep?
Wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I have claw marks on both sides, and they're bleeding. My wife goes, I think you were attacked by some supernatural being.
This is the real smoking gun. You guys seen this shit?
Holy fucking shit.
NSA, USA Gov, NSA, USA Gov, NSA, NSA.
Oh, very nice, yeah.
There's more. USA Gov, NSA, USA Gov, NSA, US. So far, we have an intelligence assessment saying that Venezuela cannot interfere with American elections, that China tried to fuck with the Biden campaign, and NSA, USA Gov, NSA, USA Gov. Am I missing something?
A lot of great information, the demons, yeah. Yeah, you know, we get thrown into these conspiracy theories by the government so that, you know, we stay busy. And, you know, don't really concentrate on who the pedos are and why they're doing this to us.
Your life violently and suddenly ends. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't comply with the law, idiot. Your life violently and suddenly ends, dummy. Maybe next time try doing, I don't know, what the law tells you to do.
Yes, stupid.
Good evening there. I am the law. I was wondering if you could answer a couple of questions I had about a Jeffrey Epstein. No. Come on. Shut up. Please. Go away. I can't hear you. Please. War in Iran. I can't hear you. With the cherry on top. We're at war. I can't hear you. No. There's nothing that I'm too busy I can do about it. Now I'm fine. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't...
His videos are always so good.
Holy shit, the president released documents showing the 2020 election was stolen. Okay, I'm just gonna download that here. Then open this. Okay. Oh.
No.
Shit. Oh, wait, so.
Yeah, this looks good.
Stolen, but. Wait a second. What? Holy shit, the president released
so much good information that they released the files, and they actually reposted the redacted Epstein files. It might as well. I mean, we wouldn't know the fucking difference.
Neighborhood that's suing the city to.
Oh, I should have watched this earlier, actually. All right, we'll come back to that. We went to the richest town in America. It's not where you think.
Do you have any advice for me? Do you have any advice for me to find really rich people in Jackson? Look for really, really nice houses.
This is Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
What?
The last of the Old West. And also, the wealthiest county per capita in America.
Everybody wants that shot, that view.
There you go.
Of the Tetons, and it's open to the highest bidder.
Here, the billionaires can be hard to pick out in a crowd.
Do you think you've met any while you're here?
Probably. I don't know.
They kind of blend in?
Yeah, I would guess so.
But even if you can't always see them, the impact of their wealth is impossible to ignore. That's because Jackson Hole isn't just the richest place in the country. It's also the most unequal.
Teton County is just for rich people now.
How bad is that housing crisis right now?
It may be one of the worst in the country.
For your average person outside of Jackson, this sounds bonkers.
So I spent a week here.
Here we go.
Looking for billionaires.
Are you a billionaire? Are you a billionaire?
Trying to blend in. To understand how this small mountain town became the wealthiest in the country. What that's meant for the people who keep it running. And what, if anything, it means for the rest of the country.
All the people that have all the power, they're coming here to just get even more.
Our story doesn't start in Jackson Hole. It starts here, on the other side of the mountains, in Idaho.
These are the people who make that town run. He's been involved in a lot of those hotels and a lot of that construction, and now he's living in Driggs.
Diana and Fernando moved from Mexico to Jackson Hole in 2002, where they raised their son Brandon for 14 years. Fernando found work in construction, building mansions for the rich, while Diana was a housekeeper and a nanny.
We are very lucky to live in this place because it's beautiful and it's very clean and there are open areas for growing family. But I think, especially right now, everything is very expensive.
In the last few years, they've been priced out of Jackson, first to Victor, Idaho, then to Driggs.
Next year, probably we move to Titonia. Next time, until they kick us out.
But their story isn't
weird
unique.
how that's the constant
Almost
story,
half
right?
of the people who work
For the
in
working
Jackson
class
are forced to commute from outside of Teton County.
So we're based out of Rigby, Idaho, but we drive back and forth every day for work.
How long's the drive?
About an hour and a half, hour and 45
Oh.
minutes.
One way?
Prices in Jackson are so high that our film crew had to stay in a log cabin in Victor, forced to take the daily commute with the rest of the workforce.
That's crazy.
Over an 8,000-foot mountain pass. For workers who make this commute year-round, things can get pretty dicey.
A landslide wiped out a crucial state highway.
Officials calling it a catastrophic failure.
Oh, hell no.
The first time I drove to Jackson, there was a terrible snowing. I was very scared, and I can see anything.
But on a clear day, when you reach the top, this is your view. Jackson Hole, with its towering Tetons and its sprawling mansions. Here, the top 1% make an average of $35 million, 221 times more than the 99%. So, how did that happen? Why did this valley, of all places, attract so much wealth?
There's always been wealthy people, but they very much wanted to be part of the culture that existed here.
Nikki Gill is a fifth-generation rancher in Jackson Hole.
24%. Let me read this right. Approximately 24% of all fatal car accidents occur during the morning and evening work commutes. So, pretty dangerous to be part of the working class.
When my dad grew up, Jackson was predominantly a ranching community. There were 80-something ranches. My great-grandfather, Robert Bruce Porter, started the Jackson Hole Hereford Ranch in 1928.
But while Nikki's family was building a working cattle ranch, the wealthiest family in the country was quietly pursuing their own plans for the valley. The Rockefellers had built the most powerful monopoly in the US, making them the world's first billionaires, and also earning them a reputation as ruthless robber barons. So they got to work repairing that reputation, and Jackson Hole became one of their most ambitious projects. They started quietly buying up land in and around the valley, and eventually donated more than 35,000 acres to the federal government, resulting in the creation of Grand Teton National Park.
Oh, look how good they are. The
But
good
that
billionaires.
didn't just preserve this area's pristine nature in amber. It also made Jackson Hole an extremely desirable destination for the super rich.
Jackson Hole is a really comfortable place to live. It does help if you have a lot of money.
By the late 60s, Jackson had a world-class ski resort, attracting everyone from ski bums to billionaires. Then, in the 80s and 90s, America got a whole lot richer at the top. And if you had a fortune to protect, Wyoming was hard to beat. No income tax, no wealth tax, no worries.
Was there a time when you remember
snow?
it starting to
it
change?
is Wyoming.
I want to say early 2000s is probably when we saw some of the biggest changes.
More hotels, more rich people moving in. Count the number of private jets at the airport.
Won't be seeing that ever.
In just a few decades, the per capita income of Teton County went from a little higher than average to the highest in the nation.
What the fuck?
Higher than Manhattan or Miami. But if this place has so much wealth, where are all the rich people?
Where can I find me a billionaire around these parts?
We came out here trying to find a super rich person like a billionaire. Do you see him in town?
I don't know that I'd know the difference between him or somebody else, you know?
They're just like me.
Unlike Miami or Manhattan, Jackson Hole isn't the kind of place where wealth puts on a show. Here, the super rich blend in, wearing Wranglers and cowboy hats.
Are you a billionaire?
No.
Are you a billionaire?
Right? No, I'm not a billionaire for sure. No,
What are the Duttons from
For
Yellowstone?
sure. Yeah, I'm for sure.
Are you a billionaire?
Not a billionaire.
Damn.
There's another reason the wealthiest residents may be hard to find. They don't actually live here. At least not for most of the year.
They just buy the house, but they just stay for vacations, for winter or summer.
Just long enough to reap the tax benefits.
Are you a billionaire? Okay.
But even if you can't always see them, the impact of their wealth is hard to miss.
We got a house for like $800,000, and now the house is over $3 million.
Jessica Chambers moved to Jackson in 2010, just as property values were starting to take off.
Every year it gets worse by a larger magnitude than the year before.
In these years, Jackson increased the rents very.
As prices rose, investors saw a chance to cash in, buying rental properties, remodeling them, and selling them to customers with deeper pockets. But that meant evicting longtime tenants, like Diana and Fernando.
They sold to that rich person. I expect they increase the rent, but I never expect they kick out everybody.
By 2020, the housing crisis hit an inflection point.
What we might have seen in 15 years happened in 2. When everybody was homebound and realized they could work virtually or just wanted to get out of the city, they had cash. They came in and just paid cash for homes.
This neighborhood cost a pretty penny. Each one of these houses, maybe $10, $20 million.
1 bedroom, I think it's running 3 to 5.
What the fuck?
For your average person outside of Jackson, this sounds bonkers.
It's why in Jackson, there's a saying, either you own a few homes or you work a few jobs.
I was at a doctor's appointment yesterday talking to my nurse, and she said she has 3 jobs. And I mean, that's pretty crazy. You know, nurses make a lot of money, and for her to say that kind of blew my mind.
Brandon is able to live in town, for now, by working 2 jobs. And because he lives in employee housing, a rare luxury in Jackson Hole.
They're supposed to build affordable houses for employees, but isn't it? They are very expensive.
And the problem keeps getting worse. The percentage of workers
Capitalism's the best,
town
man.
has gone up year over year.
With the town growing, there's just nobody to work these jobs because there's nowhere for people to live.
So why is it so hard to build affordable housing in Jackson Hole? Well, for starters, thanks to the Rockefellers' generous gift, 97% of the land is public.
Nobody can live around them. They've worked that into the fucking details. They're like, nope, we own on all the land. Only the poorest can live outside of the land that we own, which is the majority of it.
Developed. On top of that, you have another 1.5% of the pie going to something called conservation easements.
Land conservation easements. Very, very wealthy people purchase homes that are on large lots, and they could develop like a $10 million home on this property. Well, they say like, we're not gonna do that. We'll just build a $2 million home. And then we get a tax write-off for all of the stuff that we could have built, but we didn't. And then that land gets locked away from ever being developed.
Which leaves less than 1.5% of land available for development. But even on that remaining slice of land, trying to build affordable housing is an uphill battle.
We've been in a housing crisis for decades, and you would think in a crisis we would move quickly to solve the problem, and I don't think we've done a great job of that.
In 2020, Nikki's family introduced Northern South Park, a plan to convert over 200 acres of their ranch land into a mixture of market-rate homes and dense
they shot it
housing.
down.
If it went through as planned, Northern South Park would be the largest housing project in Teton County history. But if you go to Northern South Park right now, you won't find much.
We're 6 years into that project, and we're still years out from a home being constructed within that development.
We actually have some market housing finally happening, but on this other side,
Northern
where
South
the more
Park.
dense housing is going to take place, it's still greenfield.
Greg Epstein was on Teton County Commission when Northern South Park was first proposed. And he was on the inside as the process got slowed down again and again.
People in Teton County have been very apprehensive
They're going down to South Park,
develop
Northern
too
South Park,
quickly,
and have
or
ourselves
at
a
all
time.
for that matter.
It turns out this conversation isn't new. For 50 years, the community has repeatedly considered and rejected any attempt to build housing at Northern South Park. So, what happened here?
Why, during a housing crisis, are we taking 6+ years to approve a development where 70%
They don't want their
of the
property
homes
values
will
to
be
go down.
de-restricted for our local workforce?
It's really hard to say. I'm comfortable saying it. We have to look at limits to growth. And we need to say we're only going to grow so much and we will just be a smaller community.
Luther Probst is also a Teton County commissioner. He was one of the first and most vocal critics of the project.
I oppose Northern South Park. I don't see how it's going to work. We cannot build our way out of this crisis despite what some of the rah-rah developer types like to say.
This desire to limit growth in Jackson Hole isn't new. You can find it in community planning workshops from the 90s, where residents express concern about rapid growth threatening small-town values and the loss of scenic beauty and wildlife. And you can find it in this document.
They're trying
from
to take our
1994,
culture, brother.
Which has shaped housing in the valley ever since.
The comprehensive plan is a guiding document for future development in the valley.
The first part of the comp plan is preserve and protect the area's ecosystem. That is like right there, number one. That's like what everybody goes back to.
Prior to 1994, all of the open land in the county was zoned 1 house per 3 acres. And that changed in 1994 to 1 house per 35.
What?
And that's a big change. The lack of supply
That's huge.
has driven property values very high.
Jackson Hole has a long history of conserving nature. But there's another name for these kinds of policies.
What do we call it? NIMBYism? Okay. Not in my backyard.
But in this case, the backyard is the Grand Tetons.
You want to protect your view. You don't want apartment buildings.
And the NIMBYs are worth, in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Some of those people have the luxury of time. A lot of the people who this project
I would imagine if these people are filthy rich, like all they have is time. Like they will attend these meetings. And if not, they will get somebody to represent them to attend these meetings. And then if not, then they'll put out some sort of propaganda to get people to either not attending these meetings or to change the opinion of the public. Like take out a page in a local newspaper, or in like on TV or something.
Don't have the luxury of time.
There's no end. There's no light at the end of the tunnel, I think, in this problem.
At one point, does housing our community become the priority?
But to understand what this community chooses to prioritize, it helps to follow the money. That's because Jackson Hole isn't just known for its wealth, it's also known for its generosity.
We have this nonprofit world here. Over 200 nonprofits for this community.
But not all nonprofits are funded equally.
Of those nonprofits, there's like 4 that get funding from the lion's share.
Here, there's no shortage of donations for conservation and the arts.
If you were to put it on a map, you would have these circles of, this is the Land Trust, and then Wildlife Museum, Center for the Arts. And then over here is the One Health and Human Service Organization. And then everything else is like dots.
We have the richest county in the country, and we have 70 some homeless families. Like,
they only want to fund. They only want to fund the things that entertain them.
Sarah Cavallaro runs Teton Youth and Family Services. In the last few years, she's seen another side of Jackson's housing crisis.
It's mom and dad are getting divorced. We don't have a house. We can't pay for food. We've got 7 jobs going on, so nobody's watching the kids.
But with recent funding cuts from the state, she struggled to make up the difference with philanthropy.
The priorities are completely fucking skewed. Like, they don't make any sense.
And even though affordable housing does occasionally get funded by wealthy donors,
a very generous donor donated somewhere around $20 million to lower the price of housing in a project downtown.
It hasn't happened at a scale that comes anywhere close to meeting the need.
There is a small donor pool for people that contribute to housing. That's just the way it is.
It's another reason why the Northern South Park project is anything but guaranteed.
That project will require 2 of our nonprofit housing providers to raise somewhere between $250 million and $400 million. I will believe that when I see it.
It raises an obvious question. Why can't the wealthiest community in the country find the money to provide housing for everyone?
All these people are like, doing these things in the name of conservation that ultimately benefit them.
The arts are definitely always getting funded. Go downtown and there's 10 galleries. You can't house a person in an art gallery.
They're not impacted by the lack of affordable housing. Maybe they lose their favorite server at the Thai restaurant they love going to. It's like the hell with everybody else. I got mine. I'm not worried.
After spending a week in the richest county in America, I couldn't find a single billionaire who would talk to me.
Oh, who would talk to me?
Are you talking to any of the wealthy people?
They don't want to talk to us.
No one wants to talk to us.
I get it.
Yeah, we're asking hard
You're not
questions,
surprised, are you?
Yeah, no.
But what I did find was a breathtaking landscape in a community that's been completely transformed by wealth from the moment the first billionaires ever showed up.
The father of fossil fuels came here to buy land to protect nature. That's been a dynamic that's played out ever since.
It's crazy how the propaganda just continues to live on forever. All a billionaire has to do is buy some fucking land and make a reservation, make like a nature wildlife preservation area. And everybody's like, oh my God, these billionaires, they're actually so good. Can you believe they saved everything? They saved our way of life. Everything's so good now. And this was fucking decades ago. And the propaganda just continues to live when they specifically stated that the Rockefellers did this because everybody viewed them as fucking demons, man. Oh my God. It's so hard. It's so hard to get the propaganda out of these fucking people's heads and make them realize what the fuck's happening to their community, man. Your community's dying. There's not much more wealth you can extract out of the working class here, man. They don't even live remotely within the area. And the people that do have to work multiple jobs and work at employer provided housing. That shit's fucked up, man. There was another story that they did. I can't find the fucking video on it. But there was another story that I'm pretty sure it was More Perfect Union that did it, also in Wyoming, where they were talking about how again, housing was an issue, and the pay was not keeping up with the prices of housing, and that workers were finding it more and more difficult to pay their monthly rent. And they interviewed a business owner of the most popular pizza parlor in the city, and she was like, "Well, I don't understand why these people can't meet their rent." when we pay them so much. Like, and she was like, oh yeah, like what they were like, oh, what do you pay? And she's like, oh yeah, we pay like minimum wage or something like that. Or like they don't pay their workers a lot. But also at the same time, like it was either she refused to raise like the wages, but also at the same time she was like a landlord and she was raising people's rents. So like you were literally the fucking problem. You're extracting wealth on both ends by one, not paying people enough, and then two, raising their rent. Like, do you not, like, people don't fucking comprehend what the fuck's going on? Like, how do these fucking, like, billionaires go through their fucking daily lives? It doesn't fucking make any sense to me. You have to understand that you're the problem, right? Yes, hit him with the chair, dude. Where's my fucking... Hold on a minute. Okay. Where's the thing? There we go. That one. Every one of these fucking filthy rich motherfucking assholes like deserves the chair every single time.
Since then,
The mindset that people had when they moved here and the drive to preserve it and not allow anything else to happen is what made the biggest change.
Those same people flying in here on private jets, but then they come here and they protect the environment as a way to like give back.
It's easy to come here and enjoy and fall in love with it, but
give back
it's so hard on
to the land, not the people.
On the people who have been here, who make the wheels turn. Yeah, it's hard.
When the owners kick us out, one lady say, hey, I have an idea. Why we don't go inside to the rich people empty houses and we live in there? They don't use it. And say, and we go to the jail, lady.
Yeah.
But the situation in Jackson Hole isn't inevitable.
I don't think you would go to the jail. I think they would have the police come and kill you.
Of some fundamental law of nature. It's a result of policy choices. Choices
they
about
would
how
call
to
the
carve out
fucking FBI and they would be like, this is a hostage situation standoff happening in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It'll be on the national news. And then they'd fucking drone strike your ass.
land, how much housing to build, and who should have to pay for it.
The devil's in the details here, like the policy details. The policies that are put in place support a particular kind of person.
I'd like to know, like, what percentage of the fucking news that we see, like, on the national news, right? Like this, like, ABC, NBC, you know, CBS, Fox News, all this stuff. Like, what percentage of this involves, like people that are just, like, filthy rich, like, super, like, uber wealthy. And, like, you know, our news is, like, curated to grow sympathy for these people, for the bourgeoisie class, right? Like our news is just always curated to have sympathy for like the richest motherfuckers that you'll ever see in your fucking life. But yeah, you as a worker will never achieve that wealth because they guarantee that you can't achieve that wealth because they fucking prevent you from ever attaining it.
I mean, that's what we're seeing everywhere. And it's hard to undo that without people power.
If you were king or queen for the day and you could snap your fingers and fix this, what would you do?
I will doing more houses for the people. If the rich people can help to give more money to
they don't want to do
houses,
that.
Real affordable houses, because they are kicking out all workers from Jackson.
We must
and
physically
I don't
eat
move
the
from
rich.
here because it's a wonderful place. It's a very, very beautiful community.
That's what our country is now, period. And like, this is just the most extreme version of it playing out. I guess that's what makes Teton County so special. It's a lot of the same, but like, it's very extreme.
Howdy, cowpokes. Did you like that story? Go ahead and subscribe to our channel.
Every time they do a story in Wyoming, it pisses me the fuck off, man.
Section, or find our company email. It's on the internet. Okay, until next time.
But yeah, I guess if you want to see extreme wealth disparity, just go to Wyoming. Insanity.
Public transit and universal health care. Ew, those are so expensive. We should instead build more freeways and go to war. Those are free. Okay, fine.
Those are free.
So expensive. We should instead build more freeways and go to war. Those are free. Okay, fine. We can build public transit, but I'm not really sure if it will be better for the environment than a new freeway. So you're gonna have to spend the next decade and $1 billion studying its effect on the environment. You finished the study and it would be better? Yikes, looks like I'm gonna have to support the rich neighborhood that's suing the city to delay it by 5 more years. The city won? Alright, looks like you're gonna have to hire my buddy as a contractor, and he's gonna delay it by another 5 years, as well as demanding $1 billion in ransom to finish the landscaping before it opens. All of these pro-transit advocates trying to spend infinite money, while I'm over here trying to cut costs. Follow for more tip tricks and a song about road widening.
Yeah, all these people want to fucking...
Pro-transit advocates trying to spend infinite money, while I'm over here trying to cut costs. Follow for more tip tricks and a song about road...
Don't they know about balancing the budget?
Widening.
Where a grove once stood, stands a neighborhood of cloven parcels stuck in time.
Everybody must suffer so we can balance the budget. Alright, not that one. Yeah, what's Zohran up to?
The next mayor of the city of New York, Zohran Mamdani.
1 year ago today, kinda.
I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City.
Zohran won the Democratic primary and all but secured the mayor's office, snatching victory from the paws of the creep, and according to what I'm seeing on Facebook, turning the city into a cesspit of commie, Sharia, Bushwick, needle-swapping, woke, blue hair, no cops, pronouns, and mass kumbaya BS.
But what is he killing? He's killing the budget. We must balance the budget.
Is that a good thing? Has Zohran, the more dumb mom dummy, Lenined up the Big Apple and read disgusting it? In this episode, we decided to find out. Title card. Wait, was I supposed to say that? All right, quick plug, and then we'll get back to it.
There's no way they're calling him moron, mom dummy. Oh my god.
Of you who are on the fence, thank you so much. It really does mean the world to us. All right, that's it. Back to the video. Let's start with a list. Zohran's achievements in just 6 months in office are incredibly impressive. And at the top, you have to put free universal childcare for thousands of 2-year-olds in New York. Just 8 days into his term, Mamdani secured a $1.2 billion budget to make pre-K free in the city and add thousands of new spots for kids. Finally giving thousands of New York parents an answer to the question, how can I provide the greatest number of infectious diseases to my child at no cost? Let me tell you, I'm a parent myself, and this is a big deal. For everyone, but especially for those working class parents who can't afford to either take work off or send their kids to private pre-K or move
what angle is this, JT?
Not everyone can get help from family, and feeling like your kids are already falling behind at just 2 years old is a horrible thing. This plan eradicates that. Not measles, though. You might have also seen that we're taxing the rich now. In the capital of capital,
hey, we gotta build the strong immunity system, man.
More than $5 million, and that sit empty most of the year, are now going to be taxed. That'll bring in somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million. You get it? Neighborhood? Which is really good news for a city where rent and property prices just keep going up. There are entire streets filled with empty apartments used by billionaires exclusively as improvised bank deposits. Much in the same way I use my Funkos, we're all just parking our money in a safe investment. At least now there's a public benefit to us doing what we do. Now, as with most of Mamdani's plans, billionaires went to the press to whine. They said, oh, this is a mistake. People are gonna leave. We don't want to kick out millionaires who spend so much in New York, blah, 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 blah. But they know they're not going anywhere. Taxes like these never actually drive out more than a tiny % of ultra-wealthy residents. Study. And at the end of the day, New York is New York. These guys can't avoid going there once in a while. If they can afford a $5 million apartment they barely use, they can afford this. They don't actually have any leverage, and boy does that feel good. So the city's getting more money coming in, and it's going to allow the mayor's office to do more of what they've already shown they can do well. Things like handling a historic blizzard, putting the screws to landlords, filling hundreds of thousands of potholes, getting rid of junk fees on hotels and delivery apps, and all this other stuff that this video is just not able to cover because we frankly underestimated how much Mamdani's done when we started this. And in the future, building more affordable housing, making buses free, and opening public grocery stores with the first one already announced for the end of the year. The wheels are already turning, and this is working. Having a socialist mayor is working. Not for nothing, but New Yorkers, by and large, they love the Zoe.
I like him. I like his smile. I think he's got good energy.
Love him.
I'm just amazed that he does so much.
Look at this. Up like a rocket, higher and higher. New York City voters have never felt better about the man that they elected to lead this city.
He has done a ton of great things already, not the least of which breaking with the left's traditional MO. Losing. We've gotten so used to elections being a contest between Mr. Neo-Shitlib and Bring Hitler Back Man that it's incredibly refreshing seeing someone on the left not just offering an alternative and winning on that line, but then actually doing pro-working class things once in power instead of clip-farming anti-Republican zingers, writing strongly worded letters, and going back to the nursing home.
Why can't we have more anti-Republican zingers, man? I miss the days of people, you know, just being never Trumpers. Where's Midas touch when you need him, all right?
Like sewer socialists back in the 30s, Zohran is proving that socialists can both have the right ideas and get shit done. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Zohran isn't the US's first socialist in office. A century ago, cities like Milwaukee elected true-bred Reds to city councils and mayor's offices. And once in power, these sewer socialists delivered things like the first public housing co-op in the country, city-owned power and quarries.
I'm not gonna lie, as a big fan of the Ninja Turtles as a child, sewer socialist sounds kind of cool.
And, as the name implies, functional sewage systems. They even, in an echo of what's coming down the pike in New York, secured city-run affordable food and clothing. Once again, socialists in office, good. But sometimes bad, too. For all the great things the Mamdani admin is doing, having the DSA sticker of endorsement doesn't give him a free pass. For all the progress made, there are some serious concerns I, and a lot of us on the left, have about how the next few years might go. And let's start with the biggest disappointment so far. The NYPD. We knew this was coming. Early in the election cycle, Mamdani committed to keeping Jessica Tisch on as NYPD commissioner, most recently seen here. You might not know her if you don't live in the city, but Tisch is well known there for both her connections to New York's financial elite, as an heiress of the Lowe's family fortune, and her, let's call it, conservative approach to
the Lowe's family fortune
against pro-Palestine protesters. She is a darling of the New York elite, and as one of the highest-ranking figures in the city, someone appointed directly by the mayor and the commander of 30,000 officers playing with the budget of an army, Tisch is not like any other appointment. Whoever has that role matters a lot. That she is such a diametrically opposed figure politically is one thing, but the more important issue is her track record since she's been in charge. Already, we've seen her commitment to so-called quality of life policing. Basically, sending cops to harass people in a sort of dragnet way. The idea of QOLP, or CULP as the kids call it, is you bring out the big guns for the little stuff to stop it at the source. It doesn't sound too unreasonable until you realize it's the same failed idea behind broken windows. It's putting guys with guns in situations where they're gonna escalate things. What does this look like in practice? For one, it looks like homeless people being dragged to court in droves for sleeping in subway cars. This started when Tish was working for Adams, and it hasn't slowed down a bit under Zohran. You only sleep on the train if you truly have no other choice. For example, if you've been iced all night. But sicking the cops on people just trying to make do is overkill, and it doesn't take into account that the homeless have even less of a choice these days now that the Mamdani admin has, tragically, restarted doing homeless encampment sweeps. And the criminalization of homelessness is just one particularly cruel facet of this problem.
Boo!
The NYPD's also shown it's a problem in the way they've been collaborating with ICE.
Video shows ICE agents dragging a man outside of Wyckoff Heights Medical Center. We're working to find out why ICE took him into custody, but the NYPD says it had no involvement in this operation.
You may have heard about this already, but on May 2nd, NYPD arrested and used force against New Yorkers protesting ICE as the agency was arresting an undocumented immigrant in Bushwick. From what we know, ICE and the NYPD didn't coordinate ahead of time, so no laws were broken or anything. But that didn't stop officers on the scene aiding the US Gestapo as they dragged a handcuffed, clearly injured guy out of a hospital and pepper sprayed anybody getting in their way. The NYPD went so far as arresting and shoving protesters and even changing a tire on ICE's car so that they could get away. Facilitating ICE's operations like this is clearly not what should be happening with a socialist in charge, and it seriously undermines Zohran's supposed commitment to keeping New York a sanctuary city. Bottom line, by refusing to rein in the NYPD, Zohran puts a lot of New York's most over-policed and vulnerable communities at risk. This was already a bit of concern when he ran, but the fact that he backtracked on defunding the police and planned to keep Tish in charge was supposed to be balanced by things like the Department of Community Safety.
And that this is an appointment that I would make in tandem with delivering on the agenda that we put forward over the course of the primary. That's an agenda
Turns out socialists bad.
Community safety. Yep. That is an agenda that will ensure that we are dismantling the strategic response group as the way the NYPD responds to protests. And it's an agenda that understands that safety and justice have to be delivered together. The most important thing is that we only ask those officers to do the work of policing, as opposed to now, we're asking them to also take on the homelessness crisis, the mental health crisis, so many different examples of the failures of the social safety net. That's going to be the focus of the Department of Community Safety.
If Tish wasn't going anywhere, at least cops would be less of a nuisance. But so far, the SRG is still there, Tish is still beating on protesters and the homeless, and the DCS is little more than an office with no budget. Now, I'll admit, we're still in the early days, and I hope I'm proven wrong, but things like this hint at a bigger problem. We knew the minute Mamdani got into office, he'd have to contend with the establishment. Establishment Democrats, New York's elite, holdovers from the last administration. No one expected the mayor of a single city, no matter how committed he was,
billionaire police chief, I'm sure death threats are involved,
or how big that city is, to deliver a socialist transformation overnight, free of any resistance or compromise. I'll even say that the way Zohran has worked with the establishment has been, for the most part, strategic and efficient. NYPD stuff notwithstanding, compromising with Hochul delivered free childcare and a luxury homes tax. Putting on a good show for Trump staved off the worst of ICE and reversed some deportations. In these compromises, Mamdani is sticking to his word. His goal is delivering on his program so that New York can lead by example and can't be dismissed in future elections across the country as just another failed socialist experiment. Socialists running for office need to be trusted. This is clearly a good priority. Okay, new outfit because I don't remember what I was wearing in the first part of the video and I'm not going to check. Also, if there are a lot of jump cuts in this section, it's because it's very stormy out there and there's some thunder, so I'm going to cut around that.
Oh, you're scared of thunder.
This is not where the video was meant to end. To tell you the truth, we had this episode most of the way done, but I wanted to add something last minute after the primaries, which just happened. Now, originally, I was going to get on my high horse and complain that Mamdani was, he was doing well, but slowly drifting away from his base and the DSA. After a few months, the videos from the mayor's office felt like they were wasting his talent for mobilizing. Zohran kept getting wins, that's great, but more and more of them were being diluted thanks to either the budget deficit or his alliances with the establishment. That is concerning. We don't want that becoming the norm, and to avoid that, we know we need more socialists in office and pressure from below. But we were losing the energy of the campaign's 100,000 volunteers. And I know that's normal after any election, but even right after Mamdani won, New York DSA signups flatlined at 2,000, and we were seeing promising socialists in New York either not getting endorsed or getting straight up sidelined. It started to feel like we won one important election, and that was going to be it. The ladder was being pulled up. We weren't building the alternative after all, and everything was going to hang on Mamdani not betraying us. Well, I'm genuinely happy to report that, at least as of right now, that's not what's happening. In the most recent primaries in New York, Mamdani-endorsed candidates won, and in most cases, they won big. I can tell you firsthand that friends in the city had an incredibly easy time knowing who to vote for this year, even down ballot, thanks to Zohran's endorsements. And in the races that Zohran hadn't said anything about, in most cases, DSA had a candidate they put forward, and people pretty much knew that was the same thing.
Turns out socialists
I don't know what kind of numbers Mamdani's team's looking at. Maybe we could have gone further and won a few more races, but the results speak for themselves. 9 out of 10 DSA wins ain't bad at all. Especially
it wasn't very long ago, like a couple of years ago, that if you came out and said you were a socialist, everybody looked at you like, what the fuck? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, no, you can't say that word around here. That's bad. Changing the narrative. I mean, step by step.
Is where Mamdani endorsed candidates further to the left than even the Working Families Party.
But it's funny to me, like now you see like the right wing, because they obviously see socialists are popular. DSA, these candidates, Zohran specifically, are very popular, and they don't want to speak too badly about them because they still want to convince some of these voters to vote for them. So now they've moved over to saying communist. So instead of where they would have said socialist before, I mean some of them are still using that, right? But now it's communist. They want to take your toothbrush,
which is historically about as far left as candidates in New York go. More and more, it's looking like Zohran and DSA are carving out a space in the Democratic Party that's independent enough to win elections and, maybe soon, pass policies without the old capitalist guard. All this good press and electoral success is actively shifting the Overton window our way. As just one example, Daria Liza won on a platform of abolishing ICE, ending support to Israel, and saying fuck Kamala Harris. That's great news. It means that electoral politics is at least somewhat catching up to people's growing support for socialism. And the more this keeps working, in elections and in office, the more space we have to push even further.
The best advertisement for socialism has been people's attitudes towards it. Like when you point out and say like, what do these socialist candidates actually want? Oh, they want you to have health care. They want you to have affordable housing. Like they want you to actually be able to live off of your wages that you're getting. If not, increase your wages, make it to where the taxes that you are paying are actually going to things that benefit you. And the response to that has always been, oh, well, that's bad, actually. Like that has been the greatest advertisement for socialism, is for people to have it ingrained in their brain that that's bad. It's like, no, actually, that sounds kind of good. I think I'm going to vote for that.
Further left, both in mainstream politics and in our political organizations. So, I'm happy. For now. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. But I mean, we should be critical. We should always be critical of the people that we elect into office. It doesn't matter if it's the fucking coroner or the president of the United States. Like, if you voted for this person, you have an absolute right to complain when they don't fulfill, they don't deliver on the policies that they said they would. Like that's the whole point of voting for somebody, is to get them in office and then for them to do changes. All right, I still can't watch it. All right. Yeah, I think we'll call it here. I'm tired. Give me that. But also, I wonder, like, hold on before I go. Last thought here. They say that every 4 to 6 years, capitalism requires socialism to bail it out. Is this the wave that we're going through? Is this the what we're experiencing right now? It could be, but hopefully we stay on this wave and it continues to swing further left, because the United States forever has swung so far to the right that we're undescribably fucked. We need things to change in a major way. People that want to argue and silo themselves off and say this guy is not far left enough. I don't like the DSA. I don't like PSL. I don't like these guys. I don't like this. I don't like that. We should put them in the gulags and like all this other shit. Like, yeah, as long as like we're pushing as long as we're pushing everything further left, like I said, we can fight each other fucking later. I will fist fight whoever the fuck they want me to fist fight. As long as we get rid of these fascist ass fucks that are killing people in the fucking streets. Get it to where we can achieve fucking like healthcare for everybody. That would be fucking great. That's my stance. Get rid of this fucking attitude that nobody wants to pay taxes. The taxes suck and blah blah blah. Like, taxes do suck because you see it come out of your check, and especially when you don't get anything that benefits from it. You just get bombs made and dropped in your name on fucking children in other countries. Like, this shit sucks. Yeah, it sucks. It pisses me the fuck off, man. We need change. Real change. Alright guys, have a good night. Thank you for chatting with me.
Johnny wants a woman, Johnny wants to think of a joke. Johnny's in America, Johnny looks up at the stars. Johnny combs his hair and Johnny wants pussy and cars. Johnny's in America. Johnny's in America.